How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figure most journalists would not disclose their sources.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's going to feel?
Like, wow, this is amazing. I think he's going to say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time. My favorite villain? I kind of like Diddy.
There are no misconceptions about me.
You guys don't need to worry about me getting revenge from Diddy. I've got 3 moves that make sure he'll never be able to come after me or my family. First, I personally reached out to the victims' legal teams. The real reason he's not getting out is those buried cases behind the scenes. I provided legal funding for 7 victims who had been silent for years and brought in the top criminal attorneys in the country. Second, I bought up every potential post-release business deal he had lined up. I planned this 2 years in advance, so by the time he got sentenced and still had hope of getting out, every partner had already cut ties with him. Third, I don't just have evidence, I've got backups. This is an entire minefield that's been buried for 20 years. I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years. With testimonies from the victims, we interviewed over a dozen people he tricked, threatened, or violated. You think that's harsh? No, he destroyed other people's lives for decades. I'm just making sure he spends a few extra years in prison for it. I'm not afraid of his people, not afraid of his threats. I know he's still in there fantasizing about a comeback, but the truth is, he's never coming back.
Monster.
Just a few hours ago, police here at Midtown South arrested Sean Carter, better known as Jay.
Crazy. For the past 20 years, Jay-Z has been presented to us as the final boss of rap, the ultimate success story, a man who went from the Marcy Projects to owning pieces of streaming platforms, champagne brands, NBA teams, and shaping the soundtrack of half our lives. But after this Netflix documentary, the energy shifts. Now you've got 50 Cent, someone who's been in the same rooms, attended the same award shows, and made his own millions, saying on camera, "If I don't speak up, they're going to see all of us the way they see Diddy." That line matters. Because this documentary isn't just about Sean Combs. It's about an entire class of men at the top of hip-hop trying to decide who will be remembered as a businessman and who will be remembered as a monster. And when you remember that Jay-Z has his own real legal history, the Lance Rivera incident in that Manhattan nightclub, the guilty plea, the 3 years of probation, it changes the way things look. Watching him stay completely silent while his longtime peer gets torn apart on Netflix doesn't feel like a clean billionaire observing a scandal from afar anymore. It starts to look like someone who understands exactly how fast a narrative can flip once the law decides to rewind the footage of your entire life.
For years, that you feel you knew Diddy's character.
Right.
Yet you said you weren't a part of that lifestyle, you weren't going to the parties. So what makes you so absolutely sure that these kinds of allegations that we've seen against him are true?
As much stuff has come, like when I seen today, it was allegations of 3 men that said he drugged them, and it's a long time, to be honest with you. Like when people don't remember being violated for 20 years, it makes me feel a little hard.
What are your thoughts on the allegations against Jay-Z?
That was interesting. When I was saying things not knowing exactly what I was saying, but I was going with like, where's Jay at? He's mad.
Notice how 50 Cent's tone shifts whenever those parties come up. Online, he jokes about it, but when he actually sits down and talks, his voice turns almost clinical. He said he stayed far away from Diddy's so-called freak-offs because his street instincts told him the energy in those rooms wasn't just wealthy people having fun. It was something darker. Now, with the Netflix documentary laying out what those nights allegedly looked like days-long marathons,
The exclusive video also shows Combs in Harlem greeting fans.
Off my back, long as you wear it, I'm gonna wear it. As long as you wear it, be with it. I'll accept it. I need some hand sanitizer. Hold on. I got. I've been out in the streets amongst people. Yeah, I gotta take a bath. Like the amount of people that actually I'm coming in contact with. Like that's what I have to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like 150 hugs.
describes Diddy as someone who wore a flawless mask in public, always smiling, always grateful. The image of black excellence on award stages, but who moved like a god behind closed doors, convinced he was above everyone in the room. That description lines up almost word for word with what the documentary and federal filings allege. A man who used money, drugs, and promises of career advancement to control people, then kept recordings of those freak-offs as insurance in case anyone ever thought about speaking out. And this is where Jay-Z slides back into the frame. Articles breaking down their relationship show Jay and Diddy orbiting each other for nearly 3 decades. Joint donations, co-headlining Screamfest, Diddy publicly calling Jay his strategist and his brother, private brunches where they joked about being a secret society of self-made billionaires. 50's message is basically this: I saw enough from the outside to stay away, and I've been warning people for 10 years. Jay wasn't on the outside. He was right there in the photos, the VIP sections.
See the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up.
Jaguar doesn't talk about Jay like he's some innocent bystander caught off guard by the Netflix documentary. She talks about him like a chess player. In her words, Jay's silence right now isn't shock, it's strategy. According to her, his lawyers have him locked into a say-nothing approach while he watches Diddy's empire collapse, positioning himself to benefit from whatever power or assets get shaken loose in the aftermath. She says it's the same pattern people point to when Jay repositioned himself as figures like Dame Dash, DMX, and others ran into legal or industry trouble. And that interpretation lines up with how we've already seen him move. When Rock A Fella split, Jay didn't get dragged down by the chaos. He stepped over it, ending up running Def Jam, and later building Rock Nation.
Stabbed someone named Lance Rivera. And it seems like Jay-Z tried to ruin this guy's career. He was a business partner of the notorious B.I.G. and was stabbed in the stomach and shoulder back in December 1999. The stabbing is alleged to have occurred after Jay-Z confronted Lance over reports that he had leaked his 3rd studio album. And you guys know leaking music is a big deal. These artists spend months making these albums, and then once they're leaked, they lose a lot of the profit. Jay-Z was charged for the attack and turned himself into the police the following day. After initially pleading not guilty and denying any wrongdoing, in October 2001, he pleaded guilty to 3rd-degree assault and was sentenced to 3 years probation. Here's a scan of Jay-Z's mugshot profile, and as you can see, that is Jay-Z in the mugshot, and he doesn't look happy.
Rosanna, just a few hours ago, police here at Midtown South arrested Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z. The rap star voluntarily turned himself in here at the precinct earlier this evening. Now, Carter is being held here in connection with that stabbing fight that erupted at the Kit Kat Club last night.
So this all went down at the Kit Kat Club, which is no longer around, but it was the hot spot in New York, and it became a crime scene.
Once inside, he had a confrontation with record producer Lance Rivera. Cops say the argument heated up during a party celebrating a new release by rapper Q-Tip. Jay-Z and his crew surrounded the 33-year-old Rivera and his 29-year-old brother Corey. Witnesses say that Jay-Z allegedly plunged a knife into Rivera's stomach and smashed a bottle over his brother's head before running out of the club.
So everybody at the scene clearly knew that Jay-Z was involved, and he was even quoted in court saying, "I stabbed Lance Rivera." Jay-Z did end up turning himself in. He had a bail of $50,000, which he was able to pay, so he got out a few hours later. A press conference with his lawyers labeled Jay-Z as an innocent man. Quote, "To think that this guy, who is as gentle as can be, has anything to do with this is crazy," end quote. And I don't know what's going on with Lance, but he actually came out and stated that Jay-Z in fact did not stab him. Lance recalls that night and claims that he was surrounded by 10 knives, a bunch of guys with all these knives in the club. The reporter asked him, "Was Jay-Z the one who stabbed you?" He laughs before responding, "No, Jay-Z was not the guy that actually stabbed me that night." The executive clarifies that they did have a conversation right before getting hit in the head with a champagne bottle, so it probably was one of Jay-Z's
pushes it into the territory people argue about the most. She claims Jay and Diddy didn't just move in the same circles, they operated like accomplices, leaving no evidence while everyone inside the circle understood that some women became inconvenient. Rumors of pregnancies. Rumors that powerful men allegedly helped make those problems disappear. None of that has been proven in court. Some civil suits that once named Jay and Diddy together have already been dropped, but that's exactly why the story spreads so fast online. It feels like a dark explanation for why two of the most powerful men in hip-hop stayed so close for so long, even as accusations stacked up around them. You don't have to believe her stories are gospel. The point is this. You've just watched hours of testimony detailing how Diddy allegedly coerced, recorded, and silenced people. Then you hear Jaguar saying, Jay isn't shocked by any of it, he's just making sure he steps out of the blast radius at the right moment. That's the tension. Is Jay-Z a clean billionaire watching a former friend implode? Or is he someone who knows enough to stay silent while quietly making sure none of the fallout splashes back on him? And when people say Jay-Z stole a life, they're not just being poetic. DeHaven has spent years saying he was the one who opened doors for Jay, introducing him to serious street connections, financing early moves, and putting his own freedom on the line while Jay sharpened his pen. By the time the music took off, DeHaven was gone from the picture, and the official story became, "I did this myself." With little mention of the man who says he took the charges and the scars, so Jay didn't have to. That fits a pattern people have noticed. The cleaner the brand became, the more the messy co-authors of that rise were pushed to the edges.
One thing we're not gonna do is sit here and act like Jay-Z and Diddy haven't been friends for years now. Ever since Jay-Z got wrapped into this lawsuit against Diddy, he's been trying to distance himself, and his lawyer Alex went as far as to say that Mr. Carter has nothing to do with Mr. Combs' case or Mr. Combs, saying they knew each other professionally for a number of years. Just like in all professions, people know each other. At the music awards, they support each other. If you go to an NBA All-Star game, they support each other. So he's listing out these events that Jay-Z and Diddy have been spotted at together. Now, of course, there was a ton of reaction on social media because we've all known for years now, ever since they came into the game, Jay-Z and Diddy have been close. So if Jay-Z wants to sit here and send his lawyer off to the media to tell us that they aren't friends, I'm going to sit here and combat this and talk to you guys about how good of friends they really are. Now, we all know it seems like the music industry is going through its own Me Too era, with Diddy as the face of it. Now, this lawsuit, originally filed in October 2024, was amended on December 8th to include Jay-Z's name. The accusations center around an alleged incident at an after-party following an awards show more than 2 decades ago.
See that same instinct in how Jay handled his own scandals. After the Lance Rivera stabbing case, he didn't drag it through court for years. He took a plea, served 3 years of probation, and then flipped the narrative on wax tracks like "guilty until proven innocent," reframed a violent case into a lesson about media spin, pressure, and resilience. That's the move of someone who understands how dangerous the official record can be and how powerful it is to rewrite the story before anyone else does. So now imagine that kind of man watching a Netflix series walk the public back through Diddy's history, frame by frame. Imagine him hearing whispers that investigators might start cross-checking every friend, business partner, and party guest connected to those tapes. Silence stops looking passive in that context. It starts looking calculated.
We all know that this involves a 13-year-old girl, and the details are disturbing, but Jay-Z claims he has nothing to do with it.
All due respect to Jay-Z, there's an awful lot of pictures of you running around in your undies at parties with Diddy. And so you were at some of these parties. You know, when you see that, it's hard to walk away from that visual.
Now, to really break down their relationship, their friendship, we have to go all the way back into the 90s. Jay-Z and Diddy first met in the 90s because they were both rising stars in the New York music scene. Both were born into single mother households in rough neighborhoods. They used their shared experiences to forge a bond that extended beyond music, way beyond music. Their first major collaboration actually came in the wake of a tragedy, the death of Notorious B.I.G. The two joined forces on Jay-Z's album In My Lifetime. 2 years later, they teamed up again for Diddy's single, Do You Like It? Do You Want It? No, sir. I'm gonna give you no consent right now. No. In 2001, Jay-Z said, "We were young, hungry, and dealing with a lot of pain. That kind of energy brought us together." Which, right off the bat, that is a concerning friendship. Like, major red flags go up because you both are clearly like traumatized from something in your past and you're kind of egging each other on. Now, Diddy early on created his record label Bad Boy Records, and then a few years later, Jay-Z followed suit with Rockefeller. In 2012, Diddy was quoted saying, "Jay has always been ahead of the curve. I respect his hustle from day one." Now, in the early 90s, Diddy was trouble, just as much trouble as he has been in the 2000s.
The most uncomfortable part for Jay isn't any single rumor, it's the timeline. Major outlets have already laid out just how closely he and Diddy moved from the mid-90 seconds onward. New York clubs, studio sessions, guest verses. The era when Bad Boy and Rockefeller were both shaping the sound of East Coast rap. While Biggie was becoming the face of Bad Boy and Jay was rolling out Reasonable Doubt, their circles overlapped constantly. Chris Lighty events, Russell Simmons rooms, Clive Davis parties long before either man was talking about billion-dollar valuations. That early bond matters now, because the reckoning around Sean Combs doesn't just show random excess.
Jay-Z's personal and professional life intersected with Diddy's influence. Jay-Z started dating Beyoncé in 2001 when she was 19 and he was 33. Their romance often unfolded at high-profile events, which were typically hosted by Diddy. That same year, Jay-Z and Beyoncé made their relationship public by appearing in Vanity Fair's November issue. Their first musical collaboration, Bonnie and Clyde, released in 2002 and became a cultural moment. In 2003, Beyoncé branched out from Destiny's Child and collaborated with Diddy on the track Summertime. The collaboration heightened the close connection between the two artists, saying, quote, "Beyoncé and I have always vibed creatively," Diddy responded in an interview back in 2004. Years later, Beyoncé continued to show support for Diddy, attending his lavish 50th birthday bash in 2019. She also made a heartfelt social media post in honor of Diddy. So when these two try to disconnect themselves from this man, I question, like, what's really going on here? Especially because we talked about like 5 men who came forward and they had separate suits, and a lot of them were between the years 2019 through 2022. So it's not like all of his bad acts were early in the 90s or the 2000s.
Thank you. I'm having a great
Jay-Z twice on stage, prompting backlash from fans and rivals alike. We've heard that Diddy has handfuls of male victims. So I don't know. I don't want to like assume his sexuality. I mean, at this point, who cares? But he's clearly bi or something. In 2009, a photo of Diddy and Jay-Z in a deep conversation at Diddy's birthday party became a centerpiece at the Rock and Roll of Hip Hop exhibition. I wonder what they were talking.
As both brands grew, the friendship evolved into a carefully managed public alliance. In 2005, after Hurricane Katrina, Jay and Diddy stood side by side to announce a joint $1 million donation to the Red Cross, a moment mainstream media framed as hip-hop's power players stepping into the role of statesmen. In 2007, they co-headlined the Screamfest tour, trading sets and jokes on stage. Backstage footage of Diddy slapping Jay playfully was brushed off as harmless bro energy, a clip 50 Cent would later repost when lawsuits against Combs surfaced, to underline just how comfortable these men were with each other. Fast forward, while some of the alleged exploitation described in the documentary series was supposedly happening behind closed doors, claims of recurring private parties tied to March 9th, with workers flown in, drugs supplied, and encounters allegedly recorded Jay and Beyoncé were still being photographed alongside Diddy at award after-parties, Rock Nation events, and the now famous Black billionaire gatherings. None of that legally implicates Jay, but visually, it places him firmly inside the same inner circle that former staffers and a gigolo in the series now describe as the engine behind Diddy's most disturbing alleged behavior.
Reached out to me, and I told him that this right here was important. Bad Boy celebrating 20 years of hits. This is extended family. You've been there with me through my ups and downs. Whenever I get in trouble, this is the one I call. It's my strategist right here. This is my brother.
The documentary lays out how Diddy allegedly relied on a small, controlled circle as sounding boards and fixers, Kirk Burrows on the business side, specific lawyers to manage NDAs, and a tight group of superstar peers to help shape his public image. That's why this moment lands so heavily. Diddy has publicly called Jay his brother and his strategist, saying that when trouble hits, Jay is the person he turns to. Hearing that now against the backdrop of allegations referenced in the series, including claims surrounding Tupac and Cafe AD, reframes those past comments. What once sounded like industry loyalty suddenly feels more complicated, raising questions about how deep that inner circle really went, and what role image strategy played when serious accusations were already swirling. Former agents interviewed on TV explained that in cases like this, they don't just raid a single house, they map an entire network. The documentary shows how Diddy's world was allegedly structured in his favor, and how he meticulously documented some of his wildest nights. Stack all of that together, the Netflix series walking viewers through Diddy's alleged freak-offs and power plays, the federal raids on his homes, more than 20 years of Jay and Diddy moving like a two-man cultural cartel, and Diddy himself calling Jay his strategist when trouble hits, and it stops feeling like random celebrity gossip. It starts looking like something much bigger.